Alright, so let's pick it up then from here. Here's an example. We are asked to calculate the distance between 2 points A, 4 and 7, B, 3 and 1. Now, very importantly, remember the distance of AB, as we had learned. If we want to calculate the distance between 2 points, point A and point B, we can, as I said earlier on, assign, since this is our first point, this is going to be x1, y1. x1 is 4, y1 is 7. This is our second point, B, so this is going to be x2, y2. Okay, so this is very important, obviously, to be able to identify these points. Since this is the first point, we say x1, y1. It's the second point, we say x2, y2. Well, and then obviously, guys, if you people want to, they can always say this is the second point, this is the first point. Just we need to make sure that we then say this is x2, this is y2, and this is x1, y1. So it's not like you are inhibited from actually making sure that you identify those points according to how you would like, as long as there's consistency. Though if you say this is your second point, please then that second point x2, y2, because it's your second point. This is your first point, x1, y1. Okay, so let's understand that we are not limited in that. So if we have then concluded this is x1, y1, since this is the first point, x2, y2, since this is the second point, then we can write down our formula for distance. Distance of AB is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1, the whole thing squared, plus y2 minus y1, the whole thing squared. Let's ensure, guys, that inside the bracket we write our negatives, the difference between the 2 points, and then please, between those, we make sure we write our plus and that our brackets are both squared. Very important for the distance formula. Then, remember, what did we say x2 is? We said x2 is 3. So in the place of x2, we substitute 3 minus, what is x1? In the place of x1, we substitute 4. Then we square it. Plus, what is y2? Y2 is 1. We write 1 in the place of y2. Minus y1. What is y1? Y1 is 7. Then we square it. Very important. Equal. We take our calculator, we punch all of this in, because our calculator, we can select a square root in our calculator, a scientific calculator, especially using the Casio calculator. Then we can write the bracket, write the 3 minus 4, the whole thing squared, plus 1 minus 7, the whole thing squared. We will get from your calculator the square root of 37. Guys, this here is referred to as surd form. There are cases where they say in your particular question, leave your answer in surd form. This simply means that your answer should have a square root in it, all right, or a root in it. So therefore, the square root of 37, if we were asked to leave our answer in surd form, we leave it as the square root of 37. But of course, you take your calculator, you press SD so that you can have your answer in decimal form. And let's note then, guys, that this here, the distance between A and B is actually 6,08 if you round it off to 2 decimal places, units. And guys, you can confirm using a calculator to check if really this is the answer that you should be getting. Okay, so if they say calculate the distance, leave your answer rounded off to 2 decimal places as per the instruction, then you write 6,08 units. But had they said leave your answer in said form, then you would write the square root of 37 units, and you leave it like that if they had asked for you to write the answer in surd form. Okay, let's look at a question that has to do with this midpoint, because we learned about the midpoint formula, the application of the midpoint formula. Calculate the midpoint between 2 points, A minus 3 and 5, B 2 and negative 3. So remember, once again, this is our first point, so this is x1, this is y1. It's very important, guys, to actually allocate this according to the point. Point 1, x1, y1. Point 2, x2, y2. This makes it easy for when you go ahead and substitute. Now remember the midpoint formula. And for me, I said, guys, that equal sign should just not be there. So m brackets x2 plus x1 over 2, y2 plus y1 over 2. So what do we do? x2 is 2 plus x1. Now since x1 is a following number after a plus sign and our sign here is negative, let's put the x1 in brackets, because 2 plus minus 3 should basically lead us to something else. So 2 plus minus 3 over 2. Very important, because this is two signs that are different following each other. So we put this in brackets. Then we go to y2. What's y2? Negative 3. What is y1? Plus 5, which is positive. So obviously that positive and positive remains the same. Then what do we write here? 2 plus minus 3. We resolve the sign. Positive times the negative is 2 minus 3 over 2. Minus 3 plus 5. Minus 3 plus 5 will give us a 2 over 2. So what do we then get as our final answer? What's 2 minus 3? 2 minus 3 is minus 1 in the numerator over 2. So our x-coordinate, guys, our x-coordinate for m is negative half. Our y-coordinate, negative 3 plus 5 obviously is 2. What's 2 divided by 2? It is 1. So therefore our midpoint is negative half and 1. Very important, right? Very, very important. Okay. Then lastly, let's look at the use of the gradient formula, looking at a practical example. Calculate the gradient of line segment AB, where A is 4 and negative 5, B is negative 2 and negative 9. Right. So let's go and jump in. First and foremost, what do we do? This is x1. This is y1. Since it's our first point, this is x2. This is y2, since it's our second point. Then, what is the gradient formula? The gradient formula, the gradient, remember the small letter m stands for gradient, of what? Of AB is equal to what? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, the change of y over the change of x. What's y2? y2 is negative 9. The minus sign for the formula is there. What's y1? y1 is negative 5. So two signs following each other. Negative, we put in brackets the negative 5 because y1 is negative 5. Then divided by, what's x2? x2 is negative 2. Minus what? Minus x1. What's x1? Positive 4. So obviously, since the signs are following each other different, a negative times a positive will ultimately give you a negative. Now, please let's take note here in our numerator, negative 5. What's negative times a negative? It's positive 5 over what? Negative 2 minus negative 4 gives you negative 6. Let's continue. What's negative 9 plus 5? That gives you negative 4 over what? Over negative 6. Very important. Negative what? Negative 6. Then negative divided by negative gives you what? A positive. Then 4 divided by 6. Now if you use your Casio calculator and you say 4 divided by 6, you will get a simplified answer of 2 over 3. This is the gradient of AB. It is equal to what? 2 over 3. So guys, this is simply how we apply the distance formula. Take note of how the distance formula is written, the midpoint formula, all right, and then the gradient formula. And I hope that was a helpful video.